Greetings, and thank you again for joining us for our second podcast on summarizing the Center for Engaged Teaching's weekly Scholarship of Teaching and Learning articles. In this series, McTighe Gluckman, a staff member in the Center, and I will briefly summarize the highlights in each article. Nice to see you again, McTighe.
Hello, Jace. I'm excited to share about the article this week.
This week we're sharing an article by Grant Wiggins. Yes, the same Grant Wiggins from Wiggins & McTighe Backward Design, which we use in our course design studio. The topic is, the more I lecture, the less I know if they understand. In this, Grant asks, what is the best use of time in class and out of class given our goals and given the availability of modern educational resources beyond the words of lecture? When thinking about how to answer this, we might ask ourselves, what are the outcomes that we would like our students to be able to know, do, and value? Once we have clearly identified this, we could ask, then what is the best use of our limited class time? If lecture is indeed the best tool to accomplish this, then Grant recommends it highly. However, he also encourages us to have an objective feedback system to be confident in that decision.
Part of this conversation raises the point that we may want to operationally define the term lecture. Through our work, we've heard faculty define lecture as a series of short lectures broken up by activities that they've designed for students to be thinking, talking, and doing. Utilizing this definition, a class incorporating active learning can also be categorized utilizing the term lecture. Therefore, lecturing does not mean that you're teaching throughout the entire class. This would appear to align with Grant's best use of time philosophy and attending to learning outcomes.
Also integrating low-threshold active learning approaches from a list of 228 that the Center can provide to you, and you can incorporate in your lectures, and gathering usability data on effectiveness could address some of the challenges of lecture.
One specific challenge that Wiggins highlights is, how do we know that lecture is effective? What we do know from Donald Bly's research is that lecture is not as effective as other methods for discussing or promoting thought, developing values, or changing attitudes. This brings us back to the idea of backwards design and outcomes, allowing us to ask the question of what kind of skills do we want our students to be able to demonstrate.
Well, that's the end of our super brief podcast summary. We hope that it allowed you to determine if you are interested in reading more. We'll continue to share these podcasts with each weekly SoTL article email and on the blog. Thanks for listening and reading.